What's up, you guys? Good afternoon. I was about to say good morning. I'm used to saying good morning to you guys. That's funny. G-Man, Neil, Chichamus, what's going on? Maria. GA. It took me a second. But I get it. Usually it's GM, but this afternoon it's GA. Let's see what we get with the rate decision. So there's what, like a 96% chance or something like that the rates are going to be cut? But the question is, how is it going to affect price, right? Is it already priced in? So then we're going to dump, or is it going to respond positively to the news? Like, we've had such a pullback already that the pullback could have been this morning, and then when the news comes out, maybe that's when it goes up. I don't know. We'll see. So far, we got a little rejection at New York anchored VWAP. We're kind of just going to play levels and see how the news comes out. And it hit my trailing stop loss, so I got in again on the second rejection of VWAP. So that's what this trade is. But that first 1 minute candle was right here. Came up, rejected point of control from yesterday, which was also right at a high volume node, and it just dumped straight from there. So I was already kind of short biased, so once it rejected point of control, I got in right there. Steve, Paul, how's it going, you guys? And then took another one there. So that was my in my TradeDay account. I posted those in Discord. Ended up about 800 there. This trade I took a loss on. It was a small loss, but I had this high volume node right here. It was also a higher time frame, like fair value gap was right at 400. And so it came down and kind of like had a quick reaction off of that level. So I took a long, but that was wrong. Took a loss there. Oh yeah, we got 5 minutes until FOMC, so we're good. I'm not going to take any trades right now. Most prop firms actually don't allow you to be in a position like 1 minute before or 1 minute after. Some of them are 2 minutes before, 2 minutes after. Oh yeah, Chichamus, definitely don't try to trade when you don't have internet. Trying to like do it from your phone or set up a hotspot or something, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. Plus FOMC, my goodness. So the futures desk, I actually do have a code with them. I need to update my banner, but code Krista gets you the best discount, which they have a good deal going on right now. If I remember right, it's 50% off. And when you pass your eval, you get a $500 bonus, I think, or like whatever the cost of your eval was, they're giving you that as capital in your trading account. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, it is a unique model. So you basically, it's kind of like a build your own account type of thing. You can choose the type of drawdown you want. You can choose how many days it takes you to pass. So once you like choose your own adventure, then you pass it. And then as soon as you pass, your basically in a live account at that point. So most prop firms, I shouldn't say basically, once you trade to the buffer, like I did I think most of them are the same, but you trade to a $2,000 buffer. Once you hit that buffer level, then they literally put you in a live brokerage account. So if you trade like perfectly, really consistently, you could have a live brokerage account with them in like 6 or 7 days, because you can choose the 5-day to pass eval and then hit your buffer in 1 or 2 days. And then after that, you're in a live account. So it's not like most prop firms where you have to take like 4 or 6 payouts before they even invite you to live. It's pretty cool. So I think it's a great option if you're a decent, consistent, profitable trader. If you're a new trader and you're having trouble with consistency, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Just because it is a little bit harder to pass. The eval is not easy. They want you to hit like consistent base hits on a regular basis. So I like it. I have never gotten a payout with them. I did get to the buffer stage with them, so I passed the eval. And then I didn't make it past the buffer stage. That's where I lost my account at that point. Yeah, you can copy trade 2 accounts. All right, we got our rate decision coming out here in just a second, 30 seconds. Once the news hits, we'll see if it hits any key levels, any liquidity grabs we can take some scalps off of. Starting to move up a little bit. Well, my financial juice is delayed, but based on the price reaction, I'm assuming that he's dropping rates. Came up to 500, which is a decent resistance level. Let's let this candle settle a little bit, see if we can take any trades from it. So it retraced the whole news candle so far. Let's see where the continuation is going to go. Kind of chopping around between these VWAPs so far. One thing that I do like to do when there's big news like this is throw on an anchored VWAP. Kind of thinking about getting into a long, just because it retraced the whole news candle and now it's starting to move back up and hold above VWAP. So I know this is probably old news to you guys, because if you have some other faster news source, you probably got it quicker, but I have Financial Juice, so there's like a 30-second delay. But yeah, pump in the market. $4.25. Just as predicted, right? So 25-point cut. They were projecting it to be 4.25. Yep, and 2 more rate cuts is kind of what they're saying. That's what I see too. I don't try to make sense of the news. I don't try to predict how the market's going to react to the news. But my gut was saying that we were going to get a pump, just because early in the open, we got the pullback. So it's like the rate cuts had already been priced in a couple days ago. That's why we were getting up to all-time highs. And then we got the pullback today. So it didn't make sense in my brain for it to dump more. I realized I wasn't sharing the right screen, you guys. I said a couple minutes ago I was thinking about getting into a long. I did get in. So watching levels, I'm going to target 551, see if it goes up to London high. But I don't want to let it come back down too far. So it might just hit my trailing stop loss, honestly. Since it's a news trade, I'm just going to get out at break even. Let it settle a little bit. The yellow line that I have is the news candle anchored VWAP. That was a pretty big rejection. All over the place. Let's see if it holds VWAP. Could be a decent risk to reward on that if it's going to hold. Yep. I agree. It's going to move a little crazier when Powell starts speaking and people start to get a vibe for if he's being grumpy and hawkish and saying that I'm not going to cut rates, or if he's like, yeah, I agree, we're going to continue to cut rates. That is true. No, not going to hold VWAP. Or at least it just tapped. Well, Powell comes on in about 20 minutes. Let's see what kind of tone he has. Gold looks like it's going to pump. Dang. Looks like it already is. Missed that bus. Holy cow. All-time highs for gold again. Feel like that's a daily thing right now. Oh my gosh. Was anyone watching gold and trading this? Look at how many, like that could have blown accounts though. Because look at that wick. That's insane. All right, coming back to NQ. It dropped below the anchored VWAP from the news candle. It's getting below every VWAP, you guys. We have the session VWAP. We have the New York anchored VWAP. This is a VWAP from the low of day. It's dumping now. So the place where we bounced earlier was at this initial balance extension. If it keeps going, I have some of these high volume levels marked off here, like 350-ish, that general region. This is wild. If you guys are trading this, I hope you're being careful. I took one little trade earlier, kept my stop loss at break even, and then tried one small bounce off of VWAP, but definitely keeping size small, risk small. If you size like normal on this, it's gonna blow up. The last 15 minutes or so has been a range of 130 points. And growing. G-Man, your accounts are locked, aren't they? Wow, this thing is just continuing to go down. It doesn't normally hit the second extension from Ivy Low. Let's see if any of these levels that I have right here hold up. We have some liquidity down here at like 339. Flintstones vitamins. All right. It hit that 339. I mean, what's next? 317? Where are we going, you guys? We got a wick down at 318. Wow. This is not what I was expecting. I mean, we kind of knew that the market had priced in rate cuts, right? So now we're getting the pullback, but did not expect this level of a pullback. Just passed an eval? Yes, there we go. I love it. Yeah, this is definitely a good day to try to pass an eval. Or blow an account, you know? But a good day to trade evals, not funded accounts, in my opinion. Paper trading, love it. That's fun. Wow. Well, this is exciting to watch, you guys. It's a whole lot more exciting than some of the chop that we've been getting at the beginning of this week with the contract rollover and low volume and stuff. So even if I'm just sitting here watching for a trade, it's still it's still exciting to watch. All right, getting a bounce. I'm curious though. I don't know if is this going to hold? Or, I mean, this is some resistance or was supposed to be support. Possibly turn into resistance? I don't know. That's a pretty big buy up right there. Quite suspicious now. So when we get like super out of range like this, I do like to pull up the session volume profile on the higher time frame and kind of see if we hit any point of controls. They're usually in line with my visible range volume profile levels that I mark off. Imagine if it all gets reclaimed as soon as he starts speaking. I don't know. I feel like Pal's usually grumpy and says something about how inflation's not going down as fast as we would like, and I don't think we should cut rates. But yeah, imagine, because he's been saying that like all year, the whole year, and last year. So imagine if he does come out with a less like grumpy tone and he says like, yeah, we're planning on cutting rates next time, then oh my gosh, this whole thing would definitely get retraced. Because that's not normal. What if you woke up on the right side of the bed? Then we're going all the way back up to previous day high. Big support at 24,260. Yeah, that's kind of where I had my level marked off at like 250 to 280. It didn't quite come down there though. So that was an interesting spot to bounce. That was a big buy up, but with this volatility, it could always just hit some resistance and come back down. So the session point of control is sitting right up here at 24,413. It could hit that, which is also right where that anchored VWAP news candle is. Yeah, you're welcome. Send me a message if you have any other questions or if you decide to go with them or if you're having questions about prop firms in general and which one you plan on using. I'm happy to help. Kind of wondering if this thing is going to go lower. I'm going to throw another low of day anchored VWAP on here. Just because obviously the trend is down and it never really came down to this level cleanly. But it's holding above that low of day anchored VWAP right now. And it's reclaiming that resistance that I had marked off. Okay, now cadet. Yeah, I am. I mean, not right this minute, but I'm watching to see if any trades come up. These are big candles, you guys. It doesn't look like much, but I mean, definitely size down. These are big moves. All right, so it's coming up to point of control, which is right at the anchored VWAP from the news candle. If it breaks through that, I am going to consider a long. This would be a spot for me. If it rejects, I'll probably short. If it breaks through, I'll probably go long. Gonna see what happens here. It's not rejecting yet. Oh, it's going through. It's still kind of chopping view our point of control. And then we have these other VWAPs overhead too. All right, I'm taking along. So 397 is where average entry. I don't know. We'll see if it breaks VWAP. If it does, shoot, this thing could come all the way back up. I don't know. Might be an opportunity to add to the position. Powell's going to start talking in 5 minutes. Is it gonna move up? I guess at this point, they're kind of just waiting for Powell to talk. It's kind of what it seems like. I don't have a great spot for a stop loss, like a clear structure to put it under. So I'm kind of just going to put it at the fair value gap and don't want to risk much anyway. I just saw your comment, Waffles. You wonder how much prop firms make on FOMC days? Yeah, millions in a day, I'm sure. That would be my guess too. Insane amounts. Because it's a good day for the people who gamble. Like, you know, the cheap evals where you can get like I don't know, like Bolinox is like $19 or Apex is like $36 or whatever, which I wouldn't recommend any of those because they all have an activation fee if you actually do pass. So they end up being like $200 to $300 by the time you pass. But that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, you can buy a cheap eval and just throw on a couple minis and guess the direction and pass an eval in one trade in a couple seconds. So yeah, I'm sure there's tons of people who are blowing accounts and buying more and more. By the way, if that's you, check out the ones that I like and use code Krista, support the channel. I don't have any of those cheap like $19 ones because I'm not a fan of any of those. But if you like the eval route, Tradeify and Lucid are both really good. And they don't have activation fees, so it's $80 to $90 depending on the sale for a 50K account, and then no activation fee. So I like those. And 1 day to pass, so you could definitely trade like a degen on these kind of news days. How to control over trading. Honestly, for me, the thing that actually works is setting a daily loss limit in Project X. So I know there's a lot of people who say like, just only give yourself 3 trades. After 3 trades, you have 3 bullets. After those 3 trades, you're done. Or if you take 2 losses, you're done for the day. Like, I would have those written down as rules, but then I would keep trading. I don't know, maybe I have a discipline problem. But I'm sure there's someone else in the chat who struggles with that too. So what I do is I set a daily loss limit in Project X. And for me, it's depending on the account and depending on how much drawdown I have, it's usually around like $450 to $500 that I'll lose in a day. And that forces me to not overtrade. Because for one, if I do tilt and I oversize and like revenge trade or whatever, in 1 or 2 trades, I'm done, my account's locked out, and it forces me to walk away and come back tomorrow. So it kind of gives me like a default where I have to cool off, a cooling off period. But the good side of it is it forces me to be more particular about the trades that I take, because I usually risk about $200 per trade. So if I only have a daily loss limit of like $400 to $500, that gives me 2 good trades. So I don't want to waste it on a dumb trade. That's the only thing that I think has really helped me not overtrade, is setting a daily loss limit with a lockout in Project X. All right. Pal is gonna start talking. I'll remove that since I got stopped out at pretty much break even. So it did reject VWAP, getting back below point of control. Shorts were the way to go. Let's see if it holds this low a day VWAP. No, it's not looking like it. Man. All right, let's see what Pal says. Is he going to say nice stuff? Or did he wake up on the wrong side of the bed again? I'm kind of reading the headlines that are coming out. Unemployment rate remains low. Job gains have slowed. Inflation has risen recently. It remains somewhat elevated. Moderation in GDP growth largely reflects consumer spending slowdown. It's holding that support. housing sector remains weak. Labor demand has softened. It's always so interesting. Like, he's saying a bunch of stuff that doesn't sound great to me, but price isn't dumping. It's kind of looking like it wants to hold. Never mind. That's why you don't trade when Powell speaks. You can't wait for tonight? You think this volatility is going to roll over into the Asia Tokyo session? Is that what you're thinking, G-Man? What is gold doing? Is it still pumping? Ah, it's getting a little pullback now. Still holding the VWAP deviation band. So in the Asia session, G-Man, are you going to look at NQ, or are you going to watch gold like normal? Coming back up to point of control. Man, looking at the 5-minute, 15-minute, I mean, I guess it depends on how this current 15-minute candle closes. But it kind of looks like it might hold here and not continue lower. Powell's still talking about inflation. None of the headlines that I'm seeing pop up are anything crazy. Mostly just talking about inflation and job market and stuff. Definitely not seeing any good trades in this, I can tell you that. I mean, it's holding below all the VWAPs and point of control and everything, so it makes sense to short. But there's no continuation down. Look at all these wicks. Every time it goes down, it gets bought right back up. Look at how big these moves are, you guys. This 2-minute candle right here is 68 points. A couple days ago, that was our entire 15-minute opening range. Volatility is back. We'll see if this carries over into next week. Goodness. This is definitely good for quick scalps, in my opinion. If you're a scalper, you can probably do great with this right now. Not great for my style of trading where I just like set the position and leave it until it hits my take profit. I would have to have a 50-point stop loss. Yeah, you'd have to be fast. Yeah, I'm not a fan of scalping like that anyway. This 30-minute candle doesn't look good. Yikes. Doesn't look like it wants to hold anymore. What did Powell say? Oh, I don't feel the need to move quickly on rates. Now he's talking about rates and future rate cuts. I can no longer say that the labor market is solid. All right. Well, this is kind of the next support zone that I have marked off. 250-ish. Like 250 to 280, somewhere in there. Let's see if it comes down. I don't think they go out the window, but they're definitely not respected as much. But I think that's just because there's so much volume that it pushes through the levels. But I don't think they go out the window. Like, look at this. This was still a minute after the rate announcement, and it was pretty much a perfect rejection off of this high volume node that I had marked off and value area low from yesterday. So that level was respected. And then I guess we're about to see if this next level that I have gets respected or if it just keeps coming down. It came down to about 300 and it got a little bounce. I'd love to see a bounce from this level. If we get a kind of like a quick reaction, something that looks kind of like a liquidity grab out of that level, I would consider taking a long. If it came down to like 267 is a point of control from back in September. September 11th is when this is from. And then we have quite a bit of liquidity all the way down to like 252, 253, somewhere in there. Shorts were the way to go, man. I feel like there's got to be some stats on that. Like, what's the percentage of, during the times that Powell is speaking, how many times is it going to go down? What's the likelihood that the market is going to go down while he's speaking? I would guess something like 82%. Like, very likely. Because he is a grumpy pants. Oh, look at that bounce. I said if it looked like it was going to be a liquidity grab, I was going to get in. My fingers weren't that quick, though. My entry is here. Let's see how far this thing goes up. I'm not going to let it come back down that much. I want to see some continuation on this bounce. All right, I'm already going to put my stop loss in profit because I don't want to lose on this one. How far up? Like, where's VWAP? New York anchored VWAP is at 423. Session VWAP is at 440. It's rejecting that area again. Might come down and stop me out. All right, I'm gonna set some targets to scale out a little bit. Nope, never mind. Man. So wiki, all over the place. I wonder if we'll get some clear direction at all after he's done talking. Broke back below the low a day VWAP again. No, definitely not dovish. Nope. He's been talking about how inflation is still not slowing down or going down as much as he would like. One of the big red headlines that popped up is he said, I don't feel the need to move rates quickly on rates. And that's really where it started to dump. It was kind of just like a slow grind down. But when he said that, it started to move pretty heavy to the downside. All right, coming to the bottom of my region. No signs of slowing down. Jeez, you guys. We have some wicks down here at like 236. 24, 236. This is pretty wild. Check out that candle, you guys. Holy cow. I wonder if this level's gonna hold. Who's trading this? Anyone taking any trades on this? I know someone earlier said they passed an eval on it. Yeah, definitely gambling. Not trading a funded account, that's for sure. If this hits my target, I'm gonna pass an eval. That's actually why I put the target there. There you go. That might be a better use of your money. Let's see. Is it gonna hit it? Let me make sure I did my math right. There we go. Passed it. That's fun. You know the cool thing about Lucid, the eval that I just did, is within like 2 minutes, it's gonna let me activate my pro account with them. So that's kind of cool. A lot of times you have to wait for the end of day. I decided to go long because it was holding this level of support that I had marked off. On the lower time frame, it just had like a really quick bounce off of it. So I entered long there. That's why. And now it's actually breaking through some of the other anchored VWAPs, so this thing could continue higher. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I would not say that today, the trading that you just saw, that's not being careful. I was sized up like 3 times more than normal, and I'm trading during FOMC. So I wouldn't say that's careful, but thanks. So this is a little aggressive, but I'm downsized a lot. My reasoning for it is the momentum up. It's kind of partly a momentum trade, if I can talk. Also, it broke past the news anchored VWAP, and now it's breaking past the New York anchored VWAP. So I think it could definitely continue higher, which it looks like it is. So if it does, where do we have... I don't have my session VWAP on here. So we're kind of chopping around the session VWAP. We have this, the high from the news release at 24,524. But this could also start pulling back from here too. IB high is sitting at 540. Waffles, why do you trade with Apex? I'm not a fan of them. I know their evals are cheap, but you're also stuck with an activation fee. And they have intraday drawdown. Not a fan at all. So far, it looks like it's holding the break above VWAP. I'm zoomed in though on the 2-minute chart. Looking at the 5-minute, we still don't have an official close above yet. Looking strong though. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. All right, clear break above VWAP at this point. And then targeting that London high area. Jeez. These moves up and down are wild. Where is London high? 553. Keep going, keep going. Well, I passed the Lucid eval, activated it within 2 minutes, and then this is the Lucid Pro account. Let's see if it continues up. It's coming up to that VWAP standard deviation band. Come on. Doesn't look like it wants to continue higher. Well, this is a bummer. With the momentum that we had, I thought it was going to continue higher, but it kind of looks like it's getting stuck at that standard deviation band, which was also an area of resistance on the higher time frame and value area low from yesterday. Set my first target a little bit too high. All right. That stopped me out. Still holding above VWAP though. Thinking about it. I don't know. It's not bouncing. Are we going to get a bounce? Might be a good spot to long. So far, it's holding. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Good bounce off of VWAP. Let's continue this time. Come on. You're looking at Lucid. They seem legit. I've never heard of them before. Do they pay fast? Yes, insanely fast. I actually got my first payout with them on Friday last week and actually recorded all of it and posted a short on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. But they paid me on a Friday night. I requested it at 5:39 p.m. on a Friday. So I was fully expecting it to pay me on Monday, just because, you know, when you get a new payout with a prop firm, you have to like fill out the payment processor paperwork and all that stuff. And I thought that would take time, but they instantly sent me the payment processor paperwork or whatever. I did that really fast. And then after I did that, I was able to click the request payout button. Not even 60 seconds later, it was in my bank account. So if you include the part where I had to sign up for a Plaid account, it was like 5 minutes total. But from the time I clicked payout request to the time it was literally in my bank account, like not just saying your payment has been processed, you'll see it in your bank account in the next business day. No, it was in my bank account less than 60 seconds later. So I've taken payouts with a lot of different prop firms, and that's the fastest I've ever seen. It was pretty cool. All right. Caught that bounce off of VWAP. Taking off one at this local high, another one at IB high, and then leaving a runner up to like London high. London high is actually at like 550, so I'll take another one off there. Yeah, you mentioned it, Steve. You're like, wouldn't it be crazy if this thing just retraced the whole move? That's what happened. 40% off, like between 30 to 45% off is what their sales are mostly. They did a crazy sale at Labor Day. I think it was 50% off, but that's the cheapest I've seen. I don't know what to expect on Black Friday, but I mean, that's several months away, so. But they're very much in line with like Tradeify and others. I think it's with their current sale, it's like $85 or something like that for a 50K account. Dang it, there's just no continuation. That's happened to me several times. I guess I should just close my account or close my position early. Anyway, they're very much in line with other prop firms. I think they're even a couple dollars cheaper than most. And I like that they don't have an activation fee. They also don't have a monthly subscription fee, which is cool. So if you happen to take more than a month to pass the eval, most other prop firms have some sort of like monthly subscription renewal fee or whatever they call it. Lucid does not have that. And then I think I said it, there's no activation fee either. So good stuff all around. I like them. So Charles, if you do the direct to funded with Lucid, it's 20% consistency. My preferred way is to do the test account and then activate to the pro account. It's 35%. So I think that's a better way to go. It's also cheaper too. They should pay me more for affiliate. Honestly, like, I don't know. I have a sales background. Like, I sold fitness and nutrition, high ticket sales online, but I don't feel like I'm selling it. Like, people just ask questions and I like them. Like, I personally trade with them. You guys can see me on screen trading with them. I think they're good. They've been good to me. Their payouts are fast. Their customer service is fast. I think their accounts are fairly priced. Like, they're super competitive with others. So I don't feel like I'm like selling it. I'm just telling you that I think they're good and I personally trade with them. If you want to use my code, I would appreciate it. No, really though. If you use my code, great. I would appreciate it. But definitely use some small YouTube streamers' codes. Like some of the big ones out there, they don't need your affiliate money. Oh, I just know all the rules backward and forward. Probably because I trade with them. So, like, I personally have accounts. I've done their direct straight to funded. I've done their evals. I've taken payouts. Like, I don't know. It's easy to know all the rules when you've done it. I also just recorded a video on all their rules like last week. So it's fresh in my mind. I'm also kind of a numbers person. Like math was my thing growing up. I'm an entrepreneur. I've owned businesses before, so I always had like spreadsheets tracking KPIs and profit targets and all that stuff. Like I'm kind of a nerd like that. So when it comes to calculating consistencies and remembering how many days you need to get a payout and what the minimum payout requirement is and like all that stuff, I don't know. That's one thing that my brain holds on to, and I'm good at remembering that stuff. You'll buy one to support me after you buy groceries. Kids are expensive. I feel ya. Kids were expensive over the summer. I mean, they're expensive always, but I feel like when they were at home over the summer, they were just eating like so much. And I'm a health fanatic, so like I'm not going to let them just eat snacks all the time. So every time outside of like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if they told me that they were hungry, I would always offer like, okay, you can have a banana or you can have some carrots or like a cheese stick or something like that. Because a lot of times they just wanted snacks, you know, like they wanted chips or something. But no, they were eating real food. Like they actually were hungry. They wanted fruits and vegetables and like more food. Like, man, you guys are expensive. You need to go back to school. And my kids are young too. I have a 10-year-old and then I have 7-year-old twins. So I can't imagine when I have a bunch of teenagers in the house. Man, I'm going to go broke, you guys. Or I need to make this trading thing work and get really good at trading. Oh, man. They never want to cook a chicken nugget for themselves. They just complain that there's no food. Yeah. Well, if my kids complain that there's no food, I know it's because they just want snacks. Because I don't keep a ton of snacks in the house. Like, I have plenty of food. I have a bunch of stuff that's cooked in the refrigerator right now. You can just microwave it and make yourself a snack that way. But I'm not going to have a pantry full of, like, Cheetos and Oreos and stuff. So, yeah, if they're ever complaining, like, Mom, there's nothing good. Well, sorry. You live in a healthy household. You're not going to have a bunch of that stuff. It doesn't end when you have grandkids too. Yeah. Well, at that point, then you can just spoil your grandkids. You can buy stuff just because you want to. Because you want to spoil them. Not because they're like in your house eating all of your food and breaking all your stuff. My 7-year-old son is a wild man. We have like 3 holes in our walls that I need to patch up right now. He's always breaking stuff. According to your son, you have a pantry full of nothing good to eat. Yep. I get those comments often. Well, then you must not be hungry. You just want junk food. You're right. I don't have any of that. Don't get me wrong. I let my kids eat junk food. We go to church on Sunday morning and our church serves. When we go to birthday parties, I definitely let them go crazy. They usually have like pizza and candy and cupcakes and all that stuff. Like, I'm not depriving them, but at home, like the food that I buy is good food. Sorry, guys. That's a new one. I've never heard that before. A mouse could die in my house. You don't have any snacks in the pantry. That's funny. All right, you guys. We are coming up to initial balance high, which is actually currently labeled as 15-minute opening range high, but it's actually the initial balance high. We probably will get some sort of rejection from there. But since the market's closing in 30 minutes, I'm gonna be done. That was a fun day, you guys. So within the span of this stream, I had a brand new eval account that I passed, activated it, and then this is the funded account, and finished with 1153. Not too shabby. Thank you. All right, Waffles. I love that comment. Gonna go pretend to do some work stuff. You tried my Discord, but you're not in? Like, is the link not working? Or what? I thought, you know what? I saw you join yesterday. G-Man, I just saw your post in Discord. All the old people sitting at the slot machines. Yup. Yeah, you joined yesterday. Are you not able to see anything or what? Like, what are you asking? You're not able to see anything. So in your Discord screen, are you going to the FMT trading group? And then you're not able to see, I don't know if you can see my phone, but are you not able to see like all of those different channels? So most of the talking, that's weird. I don't know. I mean, try closing it out and getting back in. Or like logging out, logging back in. Yeah, I wonder if anyone else is having trouble with it. It's working for me. I'll send you a message. That way you have my like actual account, my legit account, I just sent you a message. And keep me posted. Yeah, it's working for Steve. Interesting. Keep me posted. Try like logging out, logging back in, just kind of try some of that stuff. And if that doesn't work, let me know. But I don't have any weird like privacy settings where you have to verify you're a human or anything like that. So it shouldn't block you for any reason. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't joined the Discord already and you would like to, hop in the pinned comment in the chat. That's the link for it. I do share my levels in the group, which sometimes they're not great. Sometimes they're like spot on, which last night they were. This is the trading plan that I sent out and shared last night. Obviously, from like here on, none of that had happened. So the start of my arrows here, like 8 o'clock p.m. last night is when I sent it. But this is what I shared. I said that it, like if we hit this 600 level, I would consider shorts, and never did that. And then I said if we break below previous day low, we'll probably head down to 400, which did happen. I also had point of control marked off. That's actually where I took my short this morning at the New York Open. So this, where my cursor is right here, that's the 8:30 candle. So I'll zoom in a little bit. Where 8:30 is where my cursor is right now. So that was the market open. It came up to point of control and rejected straight down to 400. That's the trade that I took in my TradeDay accounts. So the levels are pretty good. It's just a matter of treating them correctly. And I do that on the live stream, so you guys can join me there too. But yeah, if you're not in Discord, come join us. All right, you guys, I'm going to call it a day there. Market's about to close. Thanks for joining me. That was fun trading with you guys today. Crazy FOMC action. All right, guys, have a good afternoon, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a good one.